Good afternoon, everyone. I welcome you to this class titled International Human Management Resources. Human Resource Management. Human Resource Management. Human Resource Management. HCM 355. 300 level first semester course. Now, first of all, we have to understand what international human resource management is all about. Before we proceed further. Now, I want you to understand that international human resource is critical for organization and have expanded their businesses and have presence in multiple countries. So when we talk about international, we talk about global, how human resource have greatly impacted in organization. So, but what exactly is international human resource management and how does it affect or impact the operations of multinational corporation? That is what we are going to consider. We're also going to consider what are the challenges they may face, the approaches, and the objectives. So let's move ahead by looking at the definition. So the question I ask yourself now, what is international human resource management? So wherever you see IHRM is referred to as international human resource management. So the definition goes to us by saying that is the process of managing, training, and developing and paying employee in global organization. International human resource management is the process of managing, training, and developing and paying employees in global organization. So global organization have subsidiaries and countries outside of the home country. So that rely on the expertise and management capacity or capabilities of the team existing in the parent country, where the organization has its main headquarters. So talk about parent country, we talk about the origin or the headquarters where the organization started or originated. Now, international human resource management concerns itself with all the human resource management functions, recruitment, selection, training, development, performance management, and appraisal. So these are the things that we are going to consider in this topic. We're going to consider the functions, the recruitment and selection. We're also going to consider the training and development and performance management and appraisal. And what? And appraisal. So at a global level, So what are the international human resource management model? It has a model. So ask yourself, what are the model? The model includes the activities, the processes, and functions used to attract, used to develop, used to manage the human resources of multinational companies operating across the globe. So you talk about the model, talk about the activities, the processes, the functions used to attract, develop, and manage the human resources of multinational companies operating across the globe. So it includes managing employees for three entities. Managing employees for three entities. What are those entities? We talk about the parent country employees, parents country employees. These are employees working in the country where the company is originally headquartered. Are what are parent country employees. For example, if an Indian is working in India for a company that originated in India and has its base here in India. So we talk about the host country employees. Host country employees, these are working employees in a country in which the company subsidiary is located. For example, an Indian residing and working in another country is what is called the host country employees. So talk about the third country employees, employees who do not belong to the parent country or host country, but are employed in one of the subsidiary or corporate headquarters. For example, a German uh, MSC, which has its corporate office in America, can employ the American as the CEO or in any other role in one of the other subsidiary. So the American is the third country what? Third country employee. I want you to understand this topic very well. We are talking about international human resource management. It's different from common human resource management that we know. So we are looking at it in a global level. So what are the objectives of international human resource um, management? So given a current business scenario, most organizations, especially one that are financially comfortable, have gone ahead and expanded their business to other countries, especially themselves across the globe. So now, naturally, when organizations go global, they must be aware of the laws and regulations that surround their industry in the countries they have subsidiary in and abide by it. Yes, the law that govern that company, that country, the company must follow their rules and regulation, their policy that governs the state or the country. So to understand this environment across nation in the reason why international human research was introduced. So it is critical to study and understand the human resource hiring, the staffing, the compensation, and appraisal process at a global level. At what? At a global level of an organization want to effectively run its organization or its operation in our other country. So the qualities and skill of human resources and their effective management at an international level decide a country success. So international human resource management comes to picture when a company has subsidiary for ventures or activities in at least two countries or other than parents' country. So we'll talk about we'll talk about we'll talk about uh, so number one, improve. One is to improve human resource managers and employees skilled in management, organization, and technical area. The other is to facilitate effective management of multinational businesses operations. The other one is to skillfully manage payroll and ensure fair and timely compensation for employee. You can see there is a circle, and once you see that circle, you know what I'm talking about. So what next is to oversee employees' performance, appraisals, and career paths. You must be able to oversee it. And the next one is to efficiently organize cross-cultural counseling and language training for seamless communication and cultural harmony among employees. The next one is to craft competitive human resource strategies to address global world employees and business world challenges. These are the objectives, and other objectives include to enhance or develop skill, knowledge, and abilities of human resource managers and employees in managerial, organizational, and technical world field. So some major objective includes next to help successfully develop and manage business operations spread across the countries. Number next is to manage the payroll process and compensate employees fairly and unpaid skillfully and effectively. The next is to manage the performance appraisal and career paths of employees. The next is to effective management and organization of cross-cultural counseling and language training program to help seamless communication and understanding and reduce cultural differences between employees. The next one is to develop human resource strategies that are competitive and are fit to address the issues and challenges of employees and businesses in a global world, in a global landscape. Now, what are the challenges of international human resource management? There are challenges that international human resource management faces. What are those challenges? One thing you should understand is that businesses operating on a global scale have their own pros and cons for obvious reasons, because international management of human resources is not easy and is associated with many challenges. Some of the most critical challenges of international human resource management are as follows. Number one is diversity management. Diversity management is here. You can see it in the circle. We have the diversity management. We have the facilitation of seamless communication. Number next is global payroll. The next is failing to manage expatriate assignment and pay equality. So when we talk about the diverse management, is managing a diverse workforce. Managing a diverse workforce is a big challenge. Internationally, it is one of the biggest challenges of international human resource management, making sure that your organization has a good balance of diverse workforce with high employee engagement and zero cultural differences is one of the prime responsibility of international human resource management team. Number two challenge is to facilitate, that is facilitation of seamless communication. Seamless communication. Internationally, it gets even more complicated to create a channel of communication between different hierarchies of employees and their heads due to due to what? Geographical constraint, due to geographical constraint. So we'll talk about the global payroll. Payroll on a local or national level itself comes with many challenges. So managing a global payroll is complicated as there are many rules and regulations to follow to stay compliance before processing what? Before processing the payroll. So if you are an IHRM team of an international organization looking for global payroll services, then apps can help. Our international payroll services can help you address your challenges effectively and efficiently. Number next is failing to manage expatriate assignments. Failing to manage expatriate assignments. So the role of expatriates in IHRM isn't something that can be overlooked because expatriate assignments are an opportunity for individuals to move to other countries for a brief period, work, and gain rich experience. So for an organization, it helps in building a global network of contracts that can be useful for the company. However, sending expatriate has its own challenges. So instead research found out that the failure rate for expatriate assignments span 10 to 50% across industries. It was also found that those who were sent to countries with developing economics had a higher failure rate than those who went to developed countries. So the reason cited were uh, cultured stock, depression due to isolation, and the more domestic what? Domestic issues. So we'll talk about pay equality. That is on that challenge that what they faced in international human resource management. So gender-based discrimination is present in most companies, but more so in multinational companies. So the reason may vary from one company to the other. So execution of equal pay across different subsidiaries is a delicate and critical task in global human resource management. I don't know if you understand. It's a very difficult task for someone to have a normal payroll and equality with other expatriates. So what are the functions of IHRM? So the scope of international human resource management involves all the functions of an human resource management of an organization operating at a national level, except here. So the same functions must be carried out internationally, involving employees from multiple countries. So the strategies and processes involved in executing the functions vary as they must align with the goals and objectives of multinational corporation operating at a global what? Global level. What are their functions? We look at recruitment and onboarding. We look at training and development. We look at global payroll management. We look at compliance management. Number one is recruitment and onboarding. So we'll talk about recruitment and onboarding. These are fundamental parts of HR responsibilities. So internationally, the international human resource management team must follow the same protocols, except a few tweak to align with international standards. So as international human resource management professionals, they must create job description that resonates and that resonate with candidates applying for roles across different countries. So with diverse background and cultures, interact with them, negotiate salary. So that is when we talk about recruitment and onboarding. Number two function is global payment management. So payroll is the most significant function of HR department. So with global payroll, the International Human Resource Department must be efficient at managing multi-currency payroll. So an international employee working as a host country employee must be paid in local currency. Additionally, the human resource must also take care of the taxes, social security, and so on by staying compliant with the laws and regulation of the particular country the employees is working in while processing international payroll. Number three is training and development. So initial training is necessary for every employee on matter how skillful they are. So no matter how skillful they are, initial training is necessary. So every organization work in different ways as its own set of rules and regulations, operating procedures which a new employee would be unaware of and must learn as they join the organization. So the training method could be online courses, webinar, seminars as part of what? As part of international human resource management. So the team must streamline and structure the training and ensure it gets through to the employees to the employees as intended. Number four is compliance management. Compliance management is maintaining the compliance of an organization is crucial for its success. So for the organization, for the international organization, it is important that they stay compliant with the regulations of different countries. The international human resource management team must make sure they have all information about different labor laws, minimum wage legislation, data protections law, and more pertaining to other countries. So the international human resource management ultimately aim at helping the organization 100% compliance and ensure that the employees are paid on time. To ensure that the employees are paid on time. So what are the approaches of international human resource management? There are different approaches to international human resource management that organizations take depending on several factors that could influence their business. So some of the major approaches of international human resource management are what? Ectocentric approach, geocentric approach, polycentric approach, and regionocentric approach. So I'll talk about ethnocentric approach. The parent company believes that their subsidiary must adopt the follow all the procedures and policies of the parent companies. So the parent companies also assist on taking the lead in all the activities that happen in their subsidiary, putting themselves in a position of major decision what makers. So most times this results in conflict of interest in the subsidiaries as many countries' expectation and norms varies from one another. So Marutu, Honda are live examples of this approach, and they didn't necessarily go well and cause unrest. So the the approach may be the best for the parents, maybe the best for the parents' country, maybe the best for the parents' country, it may not be for the subsidiary. So most times, why the approach may be most important, it may not be for the subsidiary as every country has a different culture, ways of working attitude, belief that do not necessarily align with that of the parent country. The failure of this approach leads to modifications. So the next one is polycentric approach. Polycentric approach in a polycentric approach, in the polycentric approach, the parents' country allows the subsidiary to create strategies, policies, and procedures relevant to the country they are operating in. So it's necessarily to align the management style to suit the local culture and attitude of the people of that country. Now, this is to help succeed in this approach. Organization recruit local people in higher management position, along with the presence of a few parent country national. So all operational level policies are formed and implemented individually by the subsidiary, which policies involving compensation, culture, and work ethics are decided locally, but once like the values are driven from the corporate office parents in the parent country. So the regional centric approach, while there is a different in various approach aspects of culture, there are similarities too. There's similarities too. For example, countries like India, Japan may vary in culture and few other aspects, but they do all have a lot of similarities as well. So in regional-centric approach, MSC set up regional offices to manage several countries in the regional to manage the human resource like as Asia Pacific region. So the geocentric approach is a geocentric approach by far is one of the best, most flexible approaches to international human resources. Very flexible. So the management does not believe in geographical barriers and think that every country, regional and subsidiary has their own strength and is smart to go by them and make the best use of it. So these companies are so considered very matured in the management process as they create flexibility for people to voice their opinion and incorporate them if seen fit. So while there may be concern about the monitoring part, the IT enables integrated system, make it possible to achieve this in a smooth manner. So, in a smooth manner, because it improves your international human resource management with guidelines of consulting. For international human resource to be successful, you need to make sure you have a right structure and require technology integration to enable seamless operations across country. So our consulting can ensure your human resource system are well connected across the globe. Our human resources solutions can guarantee is drawn to a single access point to unified what workflow. So we help streamline your human resource processes by using what the right approach. So you must use the right approach once it comes to international human resource management. So there is one that is flexible that all countries can align to it. That is geocentric what approach, which I think it seems to be the best approach in it. So talk about recruitment and selection. Recruitment and selection. Recruitment and selection, talk about recruitment, means search for the appropriate or prospective employees to suit a job requirement as presented by job specification, a techniques of job analysis. So it is the first stage in selection which makes the vacancies known to a large number of people and the opportunities that the organizations offer. So in response to this knowledge, potential applicants will write to the organization. The process of attracting people to apply is called recruitment. So according to Birch, recruitment as the development and maintenance of adequate manpower resources. So it involves a creation of pool of available labor upon whom the organization can depend when it needs additional employees. So according to Edwin Flippo, Recruitment is the process of searching for prospective employees and stimulating them to apply for a job in the organization. So there are various sources of recruitment, which we have the internal source and the external source. Internal source refer to the recruitment within the company. The various international sources could have promotion, transfer, um, past employees, and internal advertisement. So external source are referred to practice of getting suitable person from outside the country. So this could be followed by direct recruitment, casual caller, by media advertisements, by employee agencies, by management consultants, by educational institution or campus recruitment, by recommendation, by labor contractors, by telecasting, by writing, and so on and so forth. So media, the merit of external sources, merits. What is the merit? You get the qualified personnel. Number one. Number two, wider choices. Number three is fresh talents. And number four is competitive spirit. The merit there is dissatisfaction among existing staff, lengthy process, costly process, and uncertain response. So selection of international process. Selection is a process of selecting the most suitable candidate among the pool of applicants based on various parameters. Therefore, while recruitment is we prepare a list of eligible candidates through selection, we finally select the most deserving and suitable. So the objective of selecting process are as follows. It minimizing risk of failure, assigning job to suitable candidates, adapting selection criteria that determine the competitive worth of the organization of the candidates. So criteria for selection, candidates for international assignment are selected on basics of analysis of characteristics, multinational and its subsidiary, and the position to be filled. So many times international assignments fail because the selection criteria do not consider the human side of employees. So only the technical competency are tested along with the previous expatriate or experience. In case of international assignment, it is important to check the social orientation, cross-cultural competency, board mindedness, ability to handle stress. So this requires human resource management to conduct an in-depth job analysis and lay down the expected role. So the skill required to complete these are very, very, very much. Also, other than the skill, personal traits need to be assessed. Fulfilling the traits to be considered while selecting international pay is competency, adaptabilities, and personal characteristics based on age, health, race, region, education, age and education, medication, condition, and including the surgery. So selection method include interview, psychological and relative tests, assessment centered, reference, and role plays. So talk about the language barriers, the social intelligence, the ability to deal with conflict, flexibility, emotional stability and adaptability, good listening and coaching skill, sensitivity, value difference in people, ability to understand, non-verbal communication, and cross cultural awareness. So that is where we're going to stop for today as we proceed to our next class. Thank you.